let's get into the mirror and TV and how these operate in another way. All right, folks? Now you got to remember that there was darkness upon the deep, and God's Spirit moved upon the face. All right? So the way that I see creation personally is that the whole realm of earth that we see, that we live in, our light spectrum, all right, that is part of the darkness upon the deep, okay? And to go further, they tell you that the heavens are kind of built one on top of each other, right? A dimension on a dimension on a dimension, and earth would be the lowest point of those dimensions, okay? So that would be the deep again, okay? And then you have that the light was created and it was good, and the light was made and it separated it from the darkness, right? Because the darkness already existed, because the darkness was upon the deep, okay, folks? All these things go together. And the firmament above would be the face of the water, and that's why when John was taken up, he saw a sea of glass, okay? And then you see, anyways, folks, not to get too deep into it, all right? Because when you ask the church what the darkness upon the deep is, they go, and give you some stupid answer, right? It sounds just like the church is basically teaching you the Big Bang. All right, that's what they're teaching you, just in a different story form. It's in a fast form and not a slow form. All right. What is here today has always been, folks. Okay, as far as we can tell, because there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth, and there was a new heaven and a new earth at the beginning of our creation, the beginning of our church age, when Eden was made on earth. And Adam was made on earth with man and all these things. Okay, folks? All right, so the mirror, or the reflection on the face of the water, all right? This all goes back to the reflection, and that reflection thinking it is the actual person. They think it's the person, and the person looking at it is the reflection, all right? And that's how it was made so perfect that it thought it was God. And that's how it's going to wage war on the Lord in 1,000 years, all right? Or Jesus. Just need to say Jesus, because Jesus is the one who created everything, all right? Jesus is the one whose spirit moved upon the face of the water. And Lucifer saw Jesus above the water, and it thought it was Jesus. And it's the God of this world, and it's the thing that created this world. Man is made in His image, and things are made in His image, in their image, all right? And everything was made perfect, and everything was made good, we're told, right? It was made so good, it lasted for 6 days, which is probably 6,000 years, because we're told that a day is as 1,000 years. So it's probably 6,000 years of just men walking around on the earth with no woman, okay? Because that's what it's going to in the future. It's your transhumanism stuff, and that's why your RNA, your rib, is being taken out and covered with flesh. All right, folks? As the White Rider takes your elbow and inserts his arrow into your arm, okay? So you got the rivers, those lakes, the ocean, these calm pools of water. They put off a reflection. This reflection is a way to divinate to the darkness upon the deep, the layers upon layers of deepness, all right? And the deep in our physical realm would be the abyss or the pit, right? The abyss in the ocean, and the pit is in your hand. It connects you to that abyss, all right? These black screens that you hold, the black screens you watch, the black screens you use that light the way unto your feet, right? Because God says He's gonna light your path, right? That's why all your phones have a flashlight on them now. Anyways, folks, a little more tie-ins. So all these waters, okay, they connect to the darkness upon the deep, all right? And that is, I told you on another video, that your reflection is like you meeting up. It's like your dimensional self meeting up in our realm, in our visual spectrum, right? And then when you leave, it goes and does whatever it needs to do in the spiritual battle, right? Because it's a battle of flesh versus spirit. Anyways, folks, so these reflections will tie into the darkness upon the deep. All right, folks, so this is the basis of all this stuff. Anyways, so the mirror, it's a reflective device. Your phone, the magic scribe, it's a reflective device. These reflective devices, all right, you have to remember, you live in water, basically. Your oxygen air has hydrogen in it. So there is water vapor in the air. So this water vapor in the air connects to the darkness upon the deep, all right? So your radio waves that your TVs run on, even your digital TVs, it's just a way they charge you for what used to be free. They get you hooked on it, and then they start charging you for it 20 years later. Y'all know how it works. So these waters in the air, they connect to the darkness upon the deep, right? The other layer of it, okay? And that's how God is, or Satan is also the god of this world. It's because he is the dragon that is and was and is not, that is part of the power of the air. He is the prince of the power of the air. And as the prince, you do the work of the king. All right, folks? So he was cast for this position. He was cast to the ground. He was made for this. All right? All of earth is made to glorify Jesus in the end. And the end, we're taught, is when Jesus returns. However, when Jesus returns, that is when the millennial reign of Jesus starts, but as well as Lucifer. And there's going to be two segments of men. That's when you will have the Jew and Gentile again. And the Jew will be the you who joins the beast system, who worships the false Messiah, who worships the AI, who worships Lucifer, the light bearer, the prince of the power of the air, because he will have you worship him through the mark of the beast that's in your right hand right now, watching me, more than likely. It's your phone, and it's going to be used against you, right? Because they give you something for free, and then you have to be paying for it later. This time you're going to pay for it with your soul. But people are going to look at it not like that, because when Jesus comes back, he's going to give the new technology, because this is the so-called aliens coming down that seeded our planet, and these aliens / Jesus / angels are going to start giving new technology to man, and earth is going to be made perfect again, because it was made perfect, and then Lucifer was made so perfect that he waged war against God. And what do we see at the end of the millennium? We see Satan and the false prophet come out of the pit, right? And they wage war against God. So more than likely, the way things might be looking is we're going to have Biden, Trump, and Kamala for 1,000 years as leaders of this world, and this is because we will be able to download our souls in the future metaverse or whatever, right? The people who, I'm talking about the people who stay here and join the beast system, which is pretty much 99.9% of the world, I'm thinking. But we'll see about that. You got to remember that Eden was put in a world with probably billions of men already, all right? So more than likely there's going to be a very, 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 very low percentage of persons that are actually believing every word of their Bible, and they don't believe all the stupid scholars out there and all the stupid professors out there teaching you not to believe every word in your Bible. And that's just part of the falling away, all right? So in order to see things that's coming, you have to believe every word of that Bible. You can't like argue why women can be preachers. You can't argue why you can't argue all these stupid things people do. You can't argue why there's drums in church. You can't argue why there's man, the list goes on. I would have to do a whole video on that. I wasn't even planning on talking about that stuff. Anyways, so we'll end it here, folks. So just to let you make sure to recap for you people, your TVs and mirrors, they connect to the darkness of the deep through water vapor in the air, all right? And there's water vapor in the air no matter where you go, even if you're in the desert, even if it says 0% humidity, all right? Because all these devices they make, scientific devices, they're made based on man's observation, and man trying to be as God thinks he knows everything just because he can observe something. So pretty much all your science out there is hogwash, all right? Just there. It's made to sell you bullshit, to put in your house, to bring you in idols and chains of darkness of these brands, all right? And the next brand you need to watch out for is the brand Dawn, with this Trump, truth, because all people worship God in truth, right? And that's what you'll be doing. You'll be worshiping your Father of the injection in truth. It's actually all lies.